from the range. Just been testing the 17 HMR with the different ammo that I purchased for it. I purchased two different types of ammo. CCI 20 grain hollow points, or I think they call it a soft point, and CCI A17 17 grain tipped ammo, which is probably very similar to the Hornady 17 grain, because I believe at one point CCI was manufacturing it all 17 HMR ammo, even the Hornady stuff. But I don't know if they still do. I don't know if Hornady took over doing their own ammo. I think that was quite a while ago, a few years after 17 HMR first coming out, which was a long time ago now. I've just got to get these guns cleaned. I've got pictures of the targets, which I'll cut in to this. I also took a heap of footage out at the range. I remembered the little tripod and the camera attachment, or the mobile phone holder for that little tripod today. So what I'll probably do is I'll cut this video over the top of the video out at the range and just have it playing in the background. And then I'll cut the photos in of the targets as well when I need to. People had said the 20 grain was, several people had told me the 20 grain was always good in their experience in the 17 HMR, but it didn't seem to like it as much. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't fantastic. I was still only testing at 50 yards too. Just one more patch, and I'll put the brush on, hit it with the brush. I think that CCI 17 grain stuff either rivals or even beats on average the Hornady stuff in this gun, just by looking at it. I haven't measured anything yet. Okay, I've got to grab the brush from over here. There's another guy out there shooting next to me who had one of the 17 WSM Savage B-Mag, I think they were called. Savage B-Mag, something like that. It seemed to shoot all right as well. It was doing the same as this at 100, and I think he was even shooting it at 200. Uses it shooting rabbits. He said it's definitely a step up over the HMR, which it would be with about another 500 feet per second. Once I measure these groups up with this CCI ammo, I'll decide what ammo I'm going to stick with in the future with this thing. If there is a difference between the Hornady ammo and this CCI 17 grain ammo, probably just, I think it would be a very small difference. I didn't fire as many groups with these CCI ammos as I did with the Hornady 17 grain stuff. I only fired 3 groups each with these CCI ammos, because I didn't want to go and change the target. I already had to do that for the 308. Okay, that's enough brushing. Clean that off. It was a good day at the range, sunny, a little bit windy though. A lot better than yesterday though, because I was out in that same area yesterday and it was raining pretty much on and off all day and overcast the entire day. Come out fairly clean. We'll see how we go here. These are just getting a slight blue tinge to the patch. Might even call that good for the carbon cleaner. I might just run a couple of the copper cleaner through here and see how we're going. Do a couple of dry patches. Half of it off. A bit of a scrub down the ball with that copper cleaner. I don't think we'll get much out of this with copper, purely because you sort of don't really start seeing a lot of copper fouling until you're above 3,000 feet per second, which 17 HMR will never hit. So running that copper cleaner through is just a bit of an insurance policy. That's cleaned. Okay. I will cut this now, this video, and I'll go and clean the bolt for this, chuck it in the safe, and I'll catch us back when I'm back to running dry patches through this thing. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back to run some dry patches through this. I've measured the targets up, all the targets that I fired today, including this 17 HMR and the 308. That patch just came out clean, so I can dry patch this out and then oil the barrel and put it away. Yeah, I've measured all the targets. They come up pretty good. We'll go over that in a little bit. I will film that going over the targets separately, and I'll cut it in this next section before I go to the 308. Okay. One more dry patch. And I can oil this and put him away. Okay. Okay, this barrel's oiled now. So again, I'll catch this when I'm going over the targets. Okay, on to cleaning the 308. Which one of these was I using? Not that one. Not that one either. It's got to be that one. Yep. Perfect fit. Slide in on there. Get a patch. I found a couple of good shooting loads for this out of the seating depth or seating length test today. Only one though will be usable due to the loads not fitting in the magazine. If I use the other one, they did fit, but they're actually too long. If you look at them, they will go into the magazine, but they sort of sit funny and they're a bit too long for the magazine, that load. The other one though fits perfectly, so I'll end up running with that. But I do have some other stuff to test with this. That's going to be next year, because this was my last range trip for the year. It's only open one more weekend, and I'll be working that weekend. So that testing's going to have to wait. I did pull a shot in the last group that I fired. I knew that I pulled it, and I marked it on the target when I measured them up just before. It was the very last shot. It was looking to be a very good load if I hadn't pulled that. But to be honest, I'm not interested in going back and loading that length again and testing. I'll just go with this other load that shoots acceptable for a hunting rifle. So in all honesty, it's probably time to rip this scope off and put the other 4-12 back on here, and just go sight in with this other load once I've loaded a heap up. But seeing as I'm going to be doing more testing with this thing, I'll keep this scope on for the meantime and only swap over to the 4-12 Burris once I've tested these other things I've got coming. I don't know how that test will go though, because the powder I'm using for this isn't exactly suited for what I'll be doing next with it, but we'll see. Okay, that's enough of the patches. Switch to the brush. For a few strokes with this thing. This is the carbon solvent again, sorry. I might give this a hit with the copper solvent once I'm done here though, because I think last time this showed up copper, which again you shouldn't really see a heap of it, but I think it did show some up. holder slash water bottle. Usually by the time you get rid of all the carbon, you don't really have to run the brush with the copper solvent. Patches will do. Just scrubbing patches down the bore. This is the most load development I've had to do for any of my rifles for a while. Everything else I've just been able to do the subtlety test and the charge. Like, once you find that charge node, it's been good. This is the only one in a while I've actually had to go back and mess with seeding depth to get the shoot good. Back to the jag. That can go back in there. Catch any drips. She burns a bit more powder than the 17 or 308. It's quite a bit dirtier. And yeah. Just really waiting to see what other barrels Beretta bring out for this rifle. I would be interested in messing around with some more. I know it's in between the 308 and the 2506, but I'd like to mess around with the 270. A standard 270 at some point. Yeah, it's substantially cleaner. Grab some more patches down here. Faintest smudge of, not even brown, it's that real weak brown that you sort of get. We'll run a dry patch through, single dry patch, that'll come out pretty clean. Now I'll throw some copper solvent down here, give it a bit of a scrub. See how it goes. I'll probably try and organise another hunting trip for mid-year, next year, 2023. Sometime in winter, so it's winter here in Australia. Let me just check that. Yeah, that's done. One more patch with the copper solvent on it. I'm going to scrub this one. Get a lot on there. Scrub it from the throat to the muzzle. When you're cleaning, if you clean the carbon out, what you can actually do is you'll strip a heap of the copper out as well, because the carbon's layered on top, and as you rip that out, if there's any gaps in the copper laid down in the barrel, the carbon solvent can get under it and strip the carbon out that's under that copper, And once that's done, you'll find a heap of copper will lift out with it, which is why if you start with a fairly decent solvent, like the HMR carbon with a general purpose, you generally won't have to go to the really aggressive copper solvents, because you'll rip a heap of it out. It'll only be those very first layers that went down that you won't get, which is when you'll go back to the copper solvent, if you're so inclined to clean it all out of the barrel, which I'm not really. Hit it with one more. So that's getting the faintest smudges of blue out of there on that patch. So it's already started reacting with some copper in there. Must be right down in the grooves, because you'll see it just straight lines on the patch where it gets right down into the corners. Leave that sit for roughly 10 minutes just to give it a bit of time to react. Then I'll just dry patch it out, oil it, and we'll be good to go. Then I'll start going over these targets. Probably have to switch the phone to the other little tripod though to get a better look at them. Anyway, I'll see you when I'm dry patching this out, or when I'm doing the targets, one of the two. Okay, we're back to look at the targets. This is the wire arc HW66 17 HMR test from today with the two different types of CCI ammo. One was the CCI 20 grain hollow point or soft point even, and the other one is the CCI A17 17 grain tipped projectiles ammo. The 20 grain stuff, it didn't seem to grip real well, but it was fairly consistent in the group size, really only 1.5 millimeters between the different groups. The 17 grain CCI ammo shot a lot better. Now, having only fired 3 groups with each of these ammos, this is the better stuff out of the 2 CCI ammos, but I can't compare it really to the Hornady ammo because I've only got the 3 groups of this, but I've got 6 groups of the other stuff. CCI, if I'd fired more groups, I might have ended up with groups that were bigger, which would then match the Hornady ammo. But as it stands, this is pretty much in line, fairly consistent with the best groups from the Hornady ammo. The only other group from the Hornady that beat it was a 7mm center to center group, but that was the standout from the Hornady ammo. If I'd fired more groups with this, I may have even got a 7mm group with this stuff. You just can't say, but by the look of it, it's a pick between the CCI 17 grain and the Hornady 17 grain. Just what you can get at the time for this gun anyway. Okay, so I'll probably either stick with the Hornady or stick with the CCI, whatever's cheapest at the time. And it seems to shoot relatively to the same point of impact, only slightly different as well. Anyway, I'll grab these 308 targets and I'll be back. This is the first of the 308 targets. Get this centered in the video a bit better. Turn the camera as well. Slightly straighter. Okay, from the top left, actually, well, from the bottom right, this was 2 fouling shots that I put through, and they were just loaded as all the other previous test ammo had been loaded. Then we jumped up here to this target. It was a 17mm center to center group, which is pretty good. It's definitely by far the best that this gun's shot so far. This is the longest of all the test ammos, and pretty much over to here, the first 3 were too long for the magazine, but I loaded them up anyway just to see how they'd shoot. But yeah, definitely the best so far that this gun's shot. Then we went on to the second one. These are all in, what were they? I think they were all in 2 to 5 thousandths increments in seating depth. I'll chuck a notation up in here because I've got it all recorded on my phone. I can't look at it at the moment because I'm recording this video on the phone. Then we've got a 24mm center to center group, so just under an inch. 43, so it started to open up again. Come down to here, 42, so slightly tighter by a millimeter. Down to here, 33mm center to center. So you can see closer to the lands, it's tight, and then loosening up. And then when we get over to this target, there's only 3 on this target. We had opened up again, like massively, like over 2 inches, 54mm center to center group. Then we come back here to an 18mm center to center group, so only slightly worse than that longest load that I'd loaded. And then over to here, we have a 30mm center to center group. But with this target, I fired these 2 shots first, and then either through excitement or just laziness, I pulled this shot. I knew I pulled it because I saw the crosshairs move over to the right as the shot broke, which was a pain because this could have been an amazing group, even if it was only slightly smaller than this, because most of them you got 2 together and then 1 away. But yeah, it's just a pity, and I knew I pulled that shot when I fired it. But I'm not going to load up and retest. I'm just going to go with this load here. And again, I'll throw a notation into the video of how actual long this is. And yeah, I'll just run with this for the 150 grain spears because I'm not going to retest this. I've wasted enough time on this gun already. Anyway, that's it for the targets. I've found a load for these. There may be more coming in the future for this gun. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one, which will be next year sometime. So have a good Christmas and New Year, and I'll see you then.